copies of the book to guests at their Christmas Eve services. Many people wrote asking if I knew where they could find a church that affirmed the theology found in my book. One of them said, "If I could find a church that agrees with your book, I would attend every Sunday." My favorite response was, "Excellent theology, writing, and storytelling. I hope the book gets a huge following and is reprinted a jillion times." The overwhelming positive response to What's the Least I Can Believe and Still Be a Christian, along with its strong sales record, tells me that there is a deep hunger in America for a viable alternative to close-minded faith. Soon after writing the book, I watched an interesting episode of the popular television show Glee. In this episode, several high school students explain why they are turned off by organized religion. From their perspective, the church is down on gays, women, and science. When you add to that the arrogant and judgmental attitudes found in many religious right churches, it's easy to see why religion repels so many people. If the only faith options are fundamentalism or no religion, many people will opt for no religion. Thankfully, a better alternative exists: vibrant, centrist, open-minded, grace-filled, gender-equal, life-giving, moderate mainline faith. That's the message behind What's the Least I Can Believe and Still Be a Christian, a guide to what matters most. Although the book was written for individual listeners, for both seekers and believers, it was also written for moderate and mainline churches. Therefore, I am delighted that Westminster John Knox Press decided to publish this new edition of the book. We in the moderate mainline tradition have a compelling faith story to tell. However, we need practical resources to better share that story. This new edition of What's the Least I Can Believe and Still Be a Christian will help you do so boldly. May God's blessings be with you as you listen to and study and share this book with others. Before long, I plan to write a follow-up book called The Answer to Bad Religion is Not No Religion, but Good Religion. I hope you will be on the lookout for it. Martin Thielen, Brentwood, Tennessee, 2013. Preface. When I first met Danny, he said, "Preacher, you need to know that I'm an atheist. I don't believe the Bible. I don't like organized religion, and I can't stand self-righteous, judgmental Christians." In spite of Danny's avowed atheism and my devout Christian beliefs, we became close friends. Over the next year, Danny and I engaged in numerous conversations about God, religion, and faith. During that time, Danny softened his stance on atheism. One day, after a long conversation, he announced with a laugh, "I've decided to upgrade from an atheist to an agnostic." Several months later, Danny said, "I've had an epiphany. I realized that I don't reject Christianity. Instead, I reject the way that intolerant Christians package Christianity." A few weeks after that conversation, Danny said, "Martin, you've just about convinced me on this religion stuff. So I want to know, what's the least I can believe and still be a Christian?" What's the least I can believe and still be a Christian? What a great question. This little book represents my best effort to answer that question. Part 1 represents 10 things Christians don't need to believe. In short, Christians don't need to believe in close-minded faith. For example, Christians don't need to believe that Jews are going to hell or that it's heresy to believe in evolution. Part 2 represents 10 things Christians do need to believe. What matters most, if you will. They need to believe in Jesus, his life, teachings, example, death, and resurrection. A great benefit of these beliefs is that they provide promising answers to life's most profound questions, including, where is God? What brings fulfillment? What about suffering? And is there hope? Like Danny, many people in the 21st century hunger for an alternative expression of Christian faith that's different from the judgmental and narrow-minded caricatures they see on Christian television and in the news. This book